Hello everyone, welcome back to the Docker Essentials series. My name is Dheeraj and let's get started with today's tutorial. In our previous video, we installed Docker and ran our first command that was docker run hello world. But what actually happened behind the scenes? Today we are going to take a peek under the hood and understand Docker's architecture. We will explore the three core components like Docker images, containers, and the Docker daemon. Understanding these fundamentals is crucial because everything you do with Docker involves these three components. By the end of this video, you will have a clear mental model of how Docker works. So let's get started. Let's start with the big picture. Docker uses a client server architecture, which means it splits into parts that talk to each other. When you type a Docker command like docker run, you are using the Docker client. This is the command line interface that we saw. Command line interface is nothing but this thing. So this is, suppose if I say docker run hyphen help. So whatever C commands that you're going to run over here by using docker run. So what is this? This is nothing but the Docker client. So this client actually doesn't do the actual work. It sends your request to the Docker daemon. Okay, so which is a background service constantly running on your machine. So the daemon is the brain. It builds the images, runs the container, manages the network, and handles everything for you. And finally, next comes the Docker registry. It's like the Docker hub, which stores images that you can download and share. Think of it like a restaurant. You are the customer. The Docker client is the waiter taking your order. The Docker daemon is the kitchen preparing your food. And the Docker registry is the grocery store where ingredients come from. So this separation makes Docker flexible and very powerful. Let's talk about Docker images. This is a crucial concept. An image is essentially a blueprint or template for creating containers. Think of it like a recipe for baking a cake. The recipe tells you all the ingredients and steps required to create the cake, but it is not the cake itself. Similarly, a Docker image contains your application code, the runtime environment like Node.js or Python, along with all necessary libraries, system tools, and configurations. But it's not running, it's just an instruction. Images are read only and immutable, which means once you create an image, it doesn't change. If you need updates, you create a new version of that specific image. You cannot change the existing one. Images have a clever layered structure. Imagine stacking transparent sheets, each adding something new. This makes them efficient because layers can be shared between images. If you are a programmer, think of images as classes in object oriented programming. They define the structure. Containers is what we are going to discuss in the next one, which would be associated with this classes concept that I just told about. So now let's understand containers. So if an image is a blueprint, a container is the actual running application built from that blueprint. That is our image. When you execute docker run command, Docker takes an image, creates a container from it. The container is where your application actually runs. It has its own isolated file system, running processes, and network interfaces. Here's something important. While images are read-only, containers have a writable layer on top. This means when your application create files or make changes, those happens in the container's writable layer, not in the original image. You can start, stop, restart, move, and delete containers freely. And here's the magic. From one image, you can create multiple containers. It's like having a pizza recipe. You can use the same recipe to make 10 different types of different pizzas. Each pizza is independent, but they all come from the same recipe. Similarly, you might run 5 containers of web application from one image to handle more traffic for your application. So now let's understand the key difference between images and containers. A Docker image is a blueprint or template. It's a static and read only, just sitting on your disk, as we discussed. A container is a running instance of that image, which is dynamic, dynamically executing processes, consuming memory on your machine. Images are like recipes that can be shared and reused. Containers are like actual meals you cook from those recipes. Each one is independent and isolated. So you can create an image once, but you can spin up many containers from it. Think about Microsoft Word. The installation files on your computer are like a Docker image. When you double click and Word opens, that running application window is like a container for you. You have one set of installation file, but you can open multiple Word files or Windows Word file from it whenever you require it. So each window is independent. Closing one doesn't affect the other. This image container relationship is the heart of Docker architecture, where consider images as a blueprint. You use it, and based on that blueprint, you can create multiple containers back to back based on your application requirements. And once you internalize this concept, everything else in Docker makes more sense for you. Now let's talk about Docker Daemon, the real workhorse of Docker. The daemon is a background service that runs constantly on your machine. As soon as you install your Docker desktop, as soon as you start your Docker desktop, the first thing it does is it starts your Docker daemon. And when you install Docker desktop by default, so whenever your machine starts, it is going to automatically start that. And this process, which runs in the background, is known as Docker D, and you usually don't see, but it's always there, listening and waiting for the Docker commands that you're going to run from the Docker CLI or make any actions from Docker desktop. And when you type command in the Docker client, you are not directly creating containers. You are sending instruction to the daemon, and the daemon does the actual work for you. Think of daemon as a factory manager. You send orders, and the manager coordinates everything, like pulling images from warehouses, assembling containers on the factory floor, managing the factory resources, and keeping everything running smooth. The daemon handles building images from Docker files, creating containers, managing their life cycle like starting, stopping, restarting, and deleting them. It also manages networks so containers can talk to each other, and volumes for persistent storage. They have. The daemon is powerful because it runs with elevated privileges and have direct access to the system resources, which is why it create isolated environment for your containers. Now let's talk about the Docker client, what directly it is, and how it interacts in our day-to-day activities that we do. So when you open a terminal, you run a command docker run or docker build. So that is what is Docker client that you're using. But the client itself doesn't do the heavy lifting. It's just a translator. It takes your human friendly command, converts them into API call that the Docker daemon understands in the background process that is running. Think of client as your remote control and the daemon as your TV. You press a button on the remote, it sends a signal, and the TV does the work of changing the channels. This client can connect to a local daemon on your local machine or even a remote daemon on another servers, which is useful for managing production environments from your laptop. The client makes Docker easy to use. Instead of making complex API calls yourself, you just type simple commands like docker run nginx and the client handles the rest. Every Docker command you will learn follows this pattern. You use the client, it talks to the daemon, and the daemon makes the work done for you. Now let's talk about Docker images. So Docker images actually live in Docker registries. A registry is essentially a storage and distribution system for Docker images, like GitHub is for code or YouTube is for videos. The most popular registry is Docker Hub, the default public registry that Docker uses. When you run Docker run hello world, what it is going to do is Docker is going to automatically pull the image from Docker Hub. What is this Docker Hub? So let's go ahead and do it. So let me go ahead and clear this. And when I say Docker run hello world, so when I run this command, see what it says. Unable to find the image locally. That means this image is not there available on my machine. Then what it is going to do is pulling from a library hello world. So what is this pulling from library hello world? It is nothing but it is the Docker Hub from where it is pulling. Now what is Docker Hub? Let me show you. If you go on Google and search for Docker Hub. Enter, and this is the container image library or registry where all the images are been stored. Now, let me go ahead and search for hello world. See, this is where the images came from. So when I typed hello world, so it pulled the image from Docker registry for you by default, and based on that, it spinned up a container. And when the container was spinned up, so this image was used, and this was the name of the container which we just ran 55 seconds before. So Docker Hub contains thousands of official images maintained by companies or maintained by the verified publisher or sponsors. Let me give an example. So let me go ahead and search for Python. Okay, so when I do that, you can see there are multiple images available over here. Now you might get confused that which image is from what. So when I say Docker official images, so these are the official images hosted by Docker. When I say verified publisher, so these are the publisher who is publishing those images with their own product or with the changes that they are adding as part of that specific image. And when I say sponsored OSs, so these are the sponsored OSs which are available. So when you are using Docker Hub, you need to understand which kind of image you are going to use: official image, verified publisher, or sponsored OSs. Now, when I am searching for Docker official image, if you so as I'm searching for images, first the first thing I will do is I will just click on images. So only images are available for us. And if I click on Docker official, then based on that you can also see what kind of architectures you are looking forward for, and if it is for OS, Linux or Windows. So right now, if I say Linux, see, so this will reduce if so all are for Linux. But if I remove Linux and I say Windows, see, only these two images are available for Windows and the other were available for Linux. So that is how you can use Docker Hub and Docker Registry, by using which, yeah, you can go ahead and push your images that you have built locally, or you can also pull the images which are available as part of this Docker Registry. So the first and foremost thing, till now, if you have not created the account, click on sign up. uh, Add your email. I will add my name over here, and I will add a password, and I will go ahead and sign up. So once you sign up, then you will have to use the same uh, username or password over here. Click continue, provide the password, and click continue. So once this is done, see, now my account has successfully been created, and based on this, now I can associate this to my Docker desktop too. So now if I go to my Docker desktop over here, see, it is asking me to sign in. So what I can do is I can actually go ahead and click on sign in, and it says open. So now, as I was already signed in on the browser, so it has automatically signed in, and now if I have been signed in from the same account that you can see over here. So now whatever images that I'm going to create on my local machine, I can go ahead and push it from there. Or if I am pulling any images, I would also have a track of it as part of my Docker Hub that I have already created. So as part of this hub, you can explore whatever files and registries that you have, and you can get that associated with your Docker desktop. Now, so thank you for watching. I hope you understood the core architecture of Docker now. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning step by step, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the upcoming tutorials. Thank you for watching. My name is Dheeraj Chaudhary, and I will see you in the next video.